How's it going, everyone, and welcome to episode 8 of the network. I'm once again Nathan, this is once again Easton, once again Trevor, and once again Caden. I hope we stay that way. Anyway, we're wrapping up week 7 of the NFL, and we're going straight to Caden's weekly wrap.
We're going to cover a lot of stuff as our larger segments, but just little things I want to talk about is the Cardinals remain undefeated. That shouldn't be that big of a surprise. They played the Texans, a poverty franchise. The Patriots destroy the Jets, talking about another poverty franchise. Zach Wilson's hurt. They had Mike White play. Sounds more like a porn star name.
Who's Mike White?
He's their backup quarterback. Not anymore. Apparently Joe Flacco's traded there, but
Joe Flacco.
I mean, at this point, like if I'm trying to lose games, I'm just letting Mike White play.
Yeah, Mike White.
Let me get another first overall pick.
Watch Flacco come in and go undefeated from here out.
Yeah,
wouldn't that be something?
This is the same team that beat the Titans though, which is just crazy.
Holy crap, that's right.
Yeah,
Therefore, the Titans are better than the Bills. I mean, the Jets are better than the Bills.
The Jets are better than Kansas City.
Yeah, are the Jets better than Kansas City?
The AFC is an absolute mess. I think out of the teams that need to be hitting the panic button, the Chiefs are obviously one. Mm-hmm. Other teams I want to mention, the 49ers, they had pretty high expectations. They wanted to get back to their Super Bowl self when they made the appearance against the Chiefs. And then the Seahawks probably should have hit that panic button as soon as Russell Wilson got hurt. But now they're absolutely probably not making the playoffs.
The Geno Smith hype just went down.
I still think he can win MVP personally. He's looked terrible. The Marshawn Lattimore and DK Metcalf matchup was really fun to watch last night.
I want to talk a little bit more about the Geno Smith.
Okay, you go ahead. Go ahead right now.
Just watching the game yesterday, it just seemed like every time he was kind of under pressure, and it looked like he had at least Tyler Lockett or Metcalf one-on-one. It didn't seem like he trusted his receivers to catch the ball.
Maybe he doesn't trust himself to make the throw.
That's what I said.
Yeah, and that's what Nathan said yesterday. He was like, I just don't think he trusts himself to make throws to where he can put it in position where his receivers only would have
How can you not throw a ball near DK Metcalf that he can't
he's
catch?
So big. Well,
he's the size of Donkey Kong. So
exactly. He can just box it out and catch it.
Yeah.
He was 2 targets yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, one went for a touchdown, which
84-yard touchdown. Absolutely. Shoved that man out of bounds.
I feel like that's just one of those things, though. He doesn't have enough experience to where he thinks he has a better chance of running it, and he doesn't want to throw a pick.
Yeah.
I wonder if Pete Carroll is on his way out. Honestly, he's a defensive head coach, and his defenses aren't very good. He's kind of lost that locker room. Russell Wilson really doesn't like him. Of course, that you can draw that back to when they were facing the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and Marshawn Lynch
He needs to get the job as defensive coordinator at the Dolphins.
No, the thing is, Brian Flores. This is bringing me perfectly, but Brian Flores is on the hot seat, and he's supposed to be a defensive-minded head coach, and his defense is terrible. It's like a top 3 worst scoring defense in the league right now, with talent like Xavier Howard and Byron Jones and some other guys on that team who aren't great, but that defense was good last year. They were a fringe playoff team, and you give Tua more weapons, and he doesn't look any better. And then you have Jacoby Brissett, and it's Jacoby Brissett. But Brian Flores, he's not giving the ball to Myles Gaskin, who I think is very clearly his best back. He's doing this committee just to do a committee, and I don't get that when you have a guy that's just so obviously more talented than the other guys back there, and you continue to split the carries the way you do, and your defenses are terrible, and your offense is terrible, and it's never looked good the whole time you've been there. So is it just time to say, okay, bye, Brian Flores? Yeah. And I don't see a way where this gets any better for them. No, it doesn't. Soon.
It's just it's dead in the water now for them at this point.
I mean, Brian Flores I think would be a great defensive coordinator for a team, but as a head coach, he's just not. He's not. The thing is, when you have a young quarterback, you kind of need an offensive mind to just develop them and to put them in the best circumstances. That's why we saw Jared Goff's success under Sean McVay. That's why we see guys like this that aren't supremely talented have success when they come into the league, because they have these offensive-minded guys who are creative. And we see a lot of guys who get these defensive-minded coaches, we see them struggle a lot, Matt Nagy with his quarterbacks. Yeah. And we're seeing that with Brian Flores. And I don't think Tua is supremely talented, but I don't think that Brian Flores is helping him as a defensive-minded guy. And when you're a defensive-minded guy and your defenses aren't good, then maybe you're on the hot seat. Maybe you should get fired after this year.
But going back to Pete Carroll, hey, Pete Carroll, if you want to come to the Chiefs. We'll take it.
Defensive coordinator?
Defensive coordinator.
Do you think? I think he could probably still get a head coach job somewhere.
He
But.
will. He will most definitely.
And then Tom Brady threw his 600 touchdown to Mike Evans this past week. And he gave the ball to a fan. There's been a whole negotiation thing. The man's gonna get a king's ransom. And I still don't think it's enough.
Let me read off the things that the fan received. He received 2 signed jerseys and a helmet from Brady, 1 signed Mike Evans jersey and game-worn cleats, $1,000 to the Bucks team store, 2 season tickets for next season, and then 1 Bitcoin. I think that guy he got what he deserved after giving up the ball.
I think he could have got more. I think if he holds him that ball, at that point they'll do anything to get it. It seems like.
Yeah.
I want Giselle, Tom Brady.
I want Giselle.
I said this before we started the episode. If this was my team, you'd be having a SWAT team come up to your place and bust the door down for the ball.
Oh yeah.
But realistically, if you don't take this offer, then they should just send the SWAT team.
But I think he got everything he deserved because Bitcoin's going up. I think it's
to get one already is just insane. I feel like if the Hall of Fame wants this ball, this is the first ever 600th touchdown pass. It's the only ever. It might be the only ever, which I doubt. But at least for another 10 years, I don't think anyone's going to touch it.
No, there's no way.
So I think you could have got a lot more for that.
Maybe more season tickets.
Yeah, what's stopping you from
one
getting
season
lifelong
ticket.
tickets?
Yeah.
Just give me a broom. Give me a room at the stadium.
Yeah, give me a little suite. That'd be awesome.
The Tom Brady suite.
Oh my
What Peyton Manning said.
And then to close the recap, we had Daniel Beckham Jr. Catching an insane pass, one-hander. Daniel Jones is an anomaly. Where he's
so
just
funny.
He's just super athletic.
And the king
it's so weird. Man can't hold on to a football to save his life. When he's playing quarterback, split at receiver, he's a top 5 receiver in the league.
He's the king of sports memes because running for a touchdown and then falling at the 5-yard line, he's dying, and then he makes his one-handed catch. I'm like, what the?
This isn't the same guy.
They just cloned Eli Manning.
They trained those guys from Duke a lot differently, than other colleges.
Before Odell Beckham was traded, they got a little DNA strand. They combined it with Eli Manning, and they said, "Here, that's our quarterback."
Yeah.
But that kind of closes the recap. I don't really think it was a huge week in the NFL. Besides what we're going to talk about,
I'm going to say there's a couple big topics, but nothing just crazy out of the water.
We're supposed to talk about the Chiefs since it's not there. I want to open with that. Where'd it go?
You want to open with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to talk. That's the best part of the day is talking about the Chiefs.
I'll say we'll do that after the Bengals Ravens because I got a good segue for that.
Okay, go ahead.
And then moving on to our first big topic, we have the Bengals versus the Ravens. Who both teams are now moving on to 5-2 at probably a blowout that we didn't really expect to see at 41-17.
Well, you expected it because you picked the Bengals to win this week.
But you can pick them, but still not expect a blowout.
I didn't expect a blowout.
Yeah.
I expected them to win, but not a blowout.
Yeah, that was really just shocked because Jamar Chase, man.
Yeah, Jamar Chase would.
He's winning Offensive Rookie of the Year.
No, absolutely. We forget what we talked about the quarterbacks.
Okay, but
it's Jamar Chase.
This also brings up another question: who wins Comeback Player of the Year? Joe Burrow or Dak Prescott?
I still think it's got to be Dak.
It's got to be Dak. Just because his injury was a lot more severe.
Dak came back. Joe nearly never was there. What is Joe Burrow coming back from? As far as he played 2 NFL games.
Rookie year.
Yeah. What I'm saying is he's not coming back. He's not coming back to an elite level of play. We saw Dak play at a really high level. He got injured and then he came back.
Joe Burrow was coming back from what he was.
Yeah,
last year,
absolutely. But what really was he last year?
Dak Prescott's story is a lot better than Joe's.
I agree. I feel like
potentially
being a Cowboy. And then Dak Prescott also having that narrative, we saw him crying on the field when he got injured, and there was all that drama around his contract. There's a lot more storyline to him than Joe Burrow.
You can definitely tell he was very upset.
He was devastated.
Yeah.
Because he fought so hard to get that contract, and then he just gets injured. But, man, the Bengals are so good. Jamar Chase is just far better than anyone could have ever predicted. He's literally he's the best wide receiver.
Top 5 wide receiver in the NFL as of right now.
I don't think he's the best wide receiver, but he's
I'm just saying, collectively
as
all of
as he's playing, this is the best on pace for the best rookie wide receiver season we've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And last year we already had that with Justin Jefferson, and now we have another LSU receiver, and he's looked even better. Like he's on pace for 1,800 yards. He's been insane, and he did this against Marlon Humphrey, who going into the game I perceived as a top 5 corner. He tore him apart. He allowed like 250 yards total in the game. But Marlon Humphrey's a really good corner, and he just got torched by these Bengals weapons are really good.
And it came out of nowhere.
I don't think it came out of nowhere. Honestly, I was a big believer in Jamar Chase, but T. Higgins was a guy that was kind of established. Tyler Boyd was a really good slot receiver, and then Joe Mixon's good. C.J. Uzmaza, or whatever his name is, he came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then that O-line's playing better than I expected, and that defense is playing a lot better than I expected as well because, I mean, they lost a lot of defensive pieces. Carl Lawson was their best pass rusher. They replaced him with Trey Hendrickson, who I didn't think was as talented. And then go ahead and name me one of their linebackers, guys. Exactly. I mean, they have Jesse Bates at the second level, but everyone on that defense has been playing at a level that I didn't expect. They're all playing better than you would expect them to. Eli Apple's a starter on that team, former Giants corner.
That is absolute. He was so bad on the Giants.
Terrible. He's like hated by all Giants fans. Him and Eric Flowers are like two guys that are hated by all Giants fans, and he's played pretty well, like considering he's Eli Apple.
The Bengals have entered into where they have a balanced team, like into the conversation where the Cowboys have a balanced team, the Bucks have a balanced team, and now the Bengals are now entering in that conversation.
I would definitely lean more towards their offense as their strength, just because those weapons are their strength.
Oh yeah,
and they can take the top off of any defense. Weirdly enough, because none of these guys are all that fast, I don't think, but there's just so much that they can do. They're so deadly. I mean, you can't really cover all three of those guys offensively or defensively. Like those guys, there's just too many guys. They can do it in too many different ways. T. Higgins is a big physical guy. Jamar Chase is very much like that, but he's still got some speed to him. And then Tyler Boyd has just been an established, like, elite level slot receiver.
Yeah, as that third guy.
Yeah, I mean, he was the guy for like some years there. Like
he was the guy. For
like last year, he was the guy.
Yeah.
And then when AJ Green was in and out of injuries, Tyler Boyd was really their guy as well. Mm-hmm. So it's just, I don't know. I would have never predicted it. And I know like last week when we picked like who was our best like 5-1 team, and I ranked the Ravens last, but I still picked them to beat the Bengals, and I really wasn't thinking twice about it, just because Lamar was playing at such an elite level.
I would say that for like the first time Lamar didn't look like himself in this game.
And it's so interesting to me, like because sure there's not like a lot of talent for him, but he's been playing without talent all year, and it's kind of been 2 games in a row where he hasn't really been able to take over the games. So I don't really know like what to think about him. I guess he's not my MVP anymore because his play has been kind of questionable. I think he definitely could prove to be the MVP like going further in the year. But this was a really bad performance. It's a bad day out. I don't know what else
the
to
AFC
say.
is kind of confusing.
AFC's a mess right now.
Yeah.
Going to another blowout that I kind of saw coming to an extent. I didn't think it was going to be this bad as well. But the Chiefs fall to 3-4 and a blowout against the Titans at 3-27.
Yeah, I saw something in a comment section somewhere where it was pretty much they said that how like the Chiefs performed in the Super Bowl. It's like this year has been that, but the whole season.
Exactly. Yeah, I think I saw that.
And no one could have predicted that. I don't think. Like
I would have figured the Chiefs would have bounced back from something like that.
Like at least offensively.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could understand their defense. They're terrible. Like their roster is terrible on defense. That can be like predicted.
But as far as offense goes, something I said at the very beginning of this podcast is that defenses are starting to figure out how to play Mahomes, and he doesn't know how to change to get around it.
I think
they're picking him apart.
The thing is, even when Mahomes was at Texas Tech, he still had a horrible offensive line, and he was
bad defense
that guy to get it. To extend the play and find something to do.
NFL defenses are better at reacting to someone like that.
That is true.
And there's a lot more data when you get into the NFL to look at.
How does someone do it for so many years and then just, I don't know, we're just...
Well, I think his supporting cast is just a lot worse. Like, even offensively, yeah, he still has Tyreek Hill. He still has Travis Kelce.
That's about it.
But
then you got Pringle.
And then, no one cares about
exactly.
Pringle.
Like,
but
you only have those 2 weapons.
On their offensive line, like, they had made moves to get Joe Thuney.
We have
and
a
to
totally
get
new
Orlando
offensive
Brown
line.
Jr. Mm-hmm. Orlando Brown Jr. has looked terrible. Watch the Titans game. He gets whipped by Harold Landry. He gets whipped by Bud Dupree. So he's just not really. He wanted to play left tackle. That was his whole thing why he wanted to get away from the Ravens. Sorry, you're just not athletic enough. Like
Yeah.
you just can't play left tackle in this league.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's been kind of a loss. Like that wasn't a great move by them. In retrospect, would you
Yeah.
go back and do that move again?
Oh man. So do you guys got your thoughts out and
There
stuff?
you go.
I mean,
Okay.
I have a lot to say, but I let the
Okay.
Chiefs fan talk.
Okay, so
Then we can bash
going
him.
into the season, I was pretty excited about getting an offensive line because like everybody's like saying Patrick Mahomes as an offensive line, he's gonna win games now.
I remember you told me you were every time they got a new offensive lineman, you're like, this is
is
the year.
This is
'cause
the year.
We got,
What's
we got our
really
line
funny is
back.
that I was just about to trash talk
Yeah.
the offensive line.
But now I'm looking back at it and I'm like, oh man, we could have used that money that they're paying the offensive linemen to get a
Good
better
defensive
better
players.
linebacker than Anthony Hitchens, and then a better defensive end than Frank Clark. Frank Clark, I'm sorry, he's god awful. We should have gotten rid of him after we won the Super Bowl. I don't know why we signed him for this long, but he's just not that guy. And then our cornerbacks, Juan Thornhill is developing. I like him so far. And
Probably the safety.
he was a safety.
It's a free safety.
He's a free safety? Okay. Well, he's a free safety. And then Tyrann Matthew. Those are our only good defensive players.
In the
Decent.
in the secondary. Then you have Chris Jones.
Yeah.
And honestly, Nick Bolton looked pretty good against the Titans.
He
He's
was,
not a coverage linebacker, and you kind of need that.
exactly.
in the
He's
NFL.
he's just a big dude, and I like his presence. But man, Patrick Mahomes, I don't get like you said, like he's had all these weapons before at Texas Tech, and he's had this season where like he's not had an offensive line, he's not had a good defense. Why all of a sudden is he just dropping down? Is it because they're tanking?
Well,
I don't know, but
they're
like,
not tanking.
they're not
They're
tanking, but it's just like what happened? Like is there
Well,
something?
What I would say is that, yeah, I would say that NFL teams are trying to figure out how he's playing, and if you can get a quarterback under pressure, trying to make plays outside the pocket, that's not exactly what you're looking for. Then yeah, that quarterback's gonna have some mistakes, but it just seems like every freaking game he's doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Well,
Or
it's like
like
6 games in a row now. He's
It's-
on
Well,
the same pick.
it seems like he never takes the easy throw.
Exactly.
Like
yeah.
he's never
He
like
always-
making his read in the pocket. It's always extend the play. You kind of have to set that up. You can't just extend the play every
Well,
play.
Someone needs to teach him how to throw the ball away and let some plays just
Or just
end.
like make your reads in the pocket because
Yeah.
like escaping the pocket every play is just super volatile, and you're asking for instability with that play style.
Dan Orlovsky said that he pulled up some clips from the game to where he would roll out instead of so Patrick Mahomes would drop back in the pocket and then he'd roll out prematurely. What he should have done was actually stepped
Step
up in the pocket and thrown it to the flat, or not the flat, checked it down to the running back. And again, why is Patrick Mahomes the leading rusher again in that game? Why is it?
Because your running backs aren't very good.
Darrell Williams, during the beginning of that game, I was like, he got like a good 10-yard run, and it looked like we established a run game. But like,
He just completely turned away.
he just
from it.
totally like benched him basically.
Well, to be fair, y'all were behind pretty early, so like it's kind of hard to continue on the run.
You think?
But like even then, like only 4 yards per carry isn't like very like that's.
well, because he only got like
he got five. He only got five
carries exactly.
But like,
why?
it's like only getting like 4 yards of carry isn't like, oh yeah, I need to lean on this guy all game.
That
Like maybe
first-
you should commit to it more earlier, but that's just not the identity of this team. And I think,
It should be though.
well, it can't be when you're paying a quarterback $50 million. And I think that begs the question: is a guy ever worth $50 million a year? I mean, they're not paying. It's not hitting like that in the cap right now. But next year it will. So next year is going to be even tougher. I think. Like, so he has to play at this elite level, and I don't think it's fair to ask anyone to play at a level that can make $50 million a year make sense. Because that's just too much. That makes your cap hit like it's just too hard to make a good team.
Exactly.
When one player is taking up $50 million. Like, would you ever like name a quarterback that you think would be worth $50 million consistently throughout their career? Can a guy ever be worth that?
Only
Tom
two-
Brady, but close. I mean, I
But
don't.
like, can he? Because like he was taking pay cuts and still went like a whole decade without making a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just insane. But one thing,
Put
and
it
then
this
I'll-
way, you're really not worth $50 million when you're throwing a pick every game.
yeah, exactly. But one thing, and then I'll squash it. He said in the press conference that it's not going to be all sunshines and flowers every year. And there's going to be years that you're going to be like you're going to be down and stuff, and whenever you want to build something great, it's like that confuses me. why? Like, it doesn't make sense why he'd say that in the press conference. Of like, it's been 3 years, it's been sunshines and rainbows, but now it's like if you want to build something, there's gonna be years where it's gonna be absolute crap, and so like. What are you trying to build?
What is your path
Yeah,
to
exactly.
getting better now? With the cap room, with how it is, and how do you get better from here? You're paying Joe Thuney a lot. There's a lot of contracts you can't move on from just because how long you're paying these guys and they're guaranteed money. So what is the path? Literally, you have to every draft pick you make has to be the right one, and you have every free agency signing you make has to be very cheap and it has to pay off big time. And how often do we see that happen?
That
Never.
or you start trading draft picks for really good players.
But like even then, like that's to trade.
Still
for,
got to pay them.
You have to pay them. Like
Yeah.
that's cap hit. You can't take that. So you have to sign guys for cheap, and you have to draft guys that are really good because that's the only way that you're going to be able to afford good players. It's like things just have to pay off. Things and like y'all haven't drafted all that well. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, dud. Like
Yeah.
and then obviously you trade away your first round pick for Orlando Brown, so you don't have that. You also lose. You didn't really lose, but I don't really like the draft pick of Nick Bolton. Of course, we did say he looked better. He's been looking kind of good, but like just to like play in the NFL today, you kind of need that linebacker that can play in coverage. Nick Bolton's not that guy, especially if you're the Chiefs and you don't have a lot of guys that can play coverage.
Yeah, we don't.
See, if you ask me, and people hype it up a lot, and it is important, but I would prefer to try to find some cheap people who are going to end up being good than relying on a draft, because a draft can be a crapshoot. You have people that go
But
first round that
franchises
you
are
think are going to
always
be great. They a lot of times become duds, or you get people really late or free agencies coming out of college that end up being the league leaders. It's kind of like Aaron Rodgers. He got picked up like the last round of the draft.
No,
He
it was a first round
I didn't
pick,
think
but
he
it was
was a
middle of
first.
the first round.
Yeah.
Wait, he wasn't like a first pick.
Tom Brady
And-
was like.
But like even then, like the Chiefs, like every year are gonna be probably picking a little bit later around that Aaron Rodgers pick, and it's just like like you're gonna find guys like that. But like if you're saying you need to go into free agency and you get these guys for cheap that are gonna be really good, it's hard to do that because everyone is overpaying in free agency. So you have to find these old guys that are in win now mode, don't really care about the money, and they just have to pan out. And a lot of times they don't. Sometimes they do. Like Ndamukong Suh was a guy that panned out. Jason Pierre-Paul's a guy that panned out for the Bucks.
I feel like
it's
that's
gotta be
more
guys like that.
reliable than the draft sometimes.
Well, I mean,
if you're
but you have to
desperate.
have both, especially
Right,
if
you
you're the
do.
Chiefs.
But I feel like that's more reliable
Like
if you're
good
desperate
teams
like
draft
this.
well. Like good teams draft well every time. I mean, look at the Packers. A lot of their players they draft them all, and then same for the Chiefs. All like Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones. These are all guys they drafted. A lot of their best players
Yeah.
in the draft.
That's
I mean,
why-
the only exception to that I can think of that like a really good team are the Bucks.
True.
And I guess the Rams, because
Yeah.
a lot of their main players like Jalen Ramsey and Matthew Stafford. But if you're not drafting these players, that means you have to overpay to get them. Like they had to trade two first round picks to get Jalen
Well, I
Ramsey.
mean,
They had to pay.
if they're a good person later on, trade for them, yeah. But,
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like if you just draft them, it's going to cost you a lot less in the long run than if you were to trade for them once they're
If
already
they-
established.
If they pan out for you.
Yeah, but like you need them. You need to draft well. I mean that's what I'm saying. Like you can't draft bad. Obviously you don't want to draft bad.
Right.
But what
yeah.
it's trying to say is like if every year you were signing
Oh.
free agencies and stuff like that,
Right.
it's eventually gonna
I'm just saying, you.
backfire.
I feel like at times
the
it's-
Chiefs
it's
can't
more
sign
reliable.
anymore. Like the Chiefs can't afford to overpay
Yeah.
They
in free
can.
agency.
Yeah.
So like how do they get better?
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to
Patrick
think.
Mahomes has to play.
What are
elite.
you trying to build? Like, what are you?
Well, you want to build
building?
a year-round contender. Like every year, this team's a contender.
They
But
don't-
when the contracts are dishing out, like unless Patrick Mahomes is playing at that elite level, then like you're not going to be that.
Well, it's just kind of confusing why he's saying something like that when in years past, they have been the Super Bowl team.
Mhm.
I'm like, you're not
Why
really
all of a sudden are you like?
trying to build something when it's already been
it's
you've
been
already
it's built.
established.
Like
yeah.
this is the final product. Like every year, like
Last year was the final product, and they watched it.
like the Chiefs are an established team. Every year their expectation has to be to win the Super Bowl. And the NFL is a "What have you done for me lately?" league. Like it's not like what you're gonna do for me in the future. What are you doing for me? Are you winning me games now? The Chiefs are in win now mode. You're not building anymore. You're built. Now go win.
Exactly. That's perfectly said.
Moving on, we have, the Cardinals are number one right now. They're 6-0.
Something.
So-
I don't know.
7-0, whatever it is, they got them all. Now we have 3 teams that have only got 1 loss. We got the Bucks and the Packers, who are both 6-1, and then we have the Cowboys who are 5-1.
Coming off a bye. And we ranked the 1-loss teams last week. Now we only got 3 left. They're all NFC teams. So.
I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, these were my top 3, I think.
Can't remember.
I can't remember exactly, but
I was completely wrong about that.
Yeah.
Well, going off of these 3 here and seeing who, well, here, I'll just tell you who's got this coming weekend. This coming weekend, the Packers have the Cardinals. The Buccaneers have the Saints.
We're missing the Rams.
And the Cowboys have the Vikings.
We're missing the Rams.
We're missing the Rams.
Rams have one loss.
Yeah,
sorry I blanked on that. So still 4.
So, then 4 teams. Yeah, then we got the Rams as well. And then the Rams play. They might have. No, the Rams play the Texans.
So they're probably going to remain.
Cup's going off again.
I mean, the Rams are going to beat the Texans. The Buccaneers are going to probably beat the Saints. The Cowboys and the Vikings could be a good game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, the Cowboys beat the Vikings with, Andy Dalton last year.
Yeah. But then the Packers and the Cardinals are going to be a good game.
Yeah, I can definitely see the Packers are really unhealthy. And they have a lot of guys out, so it's a really tough task. But
I'd rank them 4th out of those 4 teams.
Going as a playoff team, you think they're the worst team, the Packers?
No, I'm saying out of those 6 the 1-loss teams, I think the Packers are probably the worst out of those top 4 teams.
Right now, or as
right
a contender. As a contender though,
okay.
For the rest of the season, how would you rank those teams?
How would I rank those teams? I'd probably put Rams, then Tampa, then the Cowboys, and then the Packers. Because the Packers, I feel like, are struggling with injuries, and I don't think they could, make it back up to where they
say
were.
that.
I would disagree with you.
I mean, we've got the injuries and stuff, but they have been playing well without those people.
I know, but they have been.
They're making
they
it.
figured out how to win games without the people they have.
So far, who have we really played? Our schedule starts to get really hard now, but the Bengals have been good, but I'm not. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
you guys
super impressed with the Bengals.
Yeah, you guys are good, but the Rams and the Bucks and the Cowboys are all better.
I think they're on the. I have to agree. I'd probably rank. I still want to keep the Cowboys first. They're coming off a bye week, so they didn't give me another week to impress me. Mm-hmm. But I still feel the exact same way. That roster, top to bottom, I feel really good about them. Mm-hmm. Then I'm going to go Buccaneers second. I mean, they won the Super Bowl last year. They're a little bit banged up in the secondary, but that's front seven still insane. Tom Brady has been playing at an even better level than last year. And then I will go with the Rams. The Rams are just Matt Stafford has looked pretty good all year. That defense is still good. Cooper Kupp's been great. And then you also have Robert Woods if Cooper Kupp has an off game. So there's a pretty complete roster. And then I like the Packers a lot, but I've seen too many meltdowns.
Yeah,
that team's really banged up. I think David Bakhtiari is finally practicing. That's a good sign. But just as far as how complete each roster is, I feel like the Packers are the least complete.
Does y'all's pick with the Rams change at all, seeing how the Lions were leading that game?
I think
all the way up to
the
the
Lions are a better team than the record shows.
Absolutely.
I would say that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I picked them last week for winning because of that.
I think the Rams.
I don't think the Rams are number 1 of those 4.
I just think
I had them at third, but
yeah,
I think they were just caught off guard that they would do these fake stuff.
I think it was very personal for the Lions. They've lost all these heartbreaks, and then they have You're playing Matthew Stafford, and Dan Campbell really wants to win this game as a statement. So he's bringing out all the stops. The fake punts, the onside kick to start the game. All those things, they're pulling out everything they can to win this game because this is a team that wants to win. They have a great culture. So, I feel like I'm not that surprised that they play them really tough. The Rams be a team that they should beat. Mm-hmm. So, they don't move up in my rankings, but they don't move down either.
Exactly.
So, if you got me, I'd go Cowboys, Bucks, Packers, Rams. Packers and Bucks could go either way for me, but I think Rams are definitely number 4 out of those 4.
So, I got Cowboys, Rams, and then Bucks and Packers.
See, I don't... man, it's just so weird because at full strength... Well, the Cowboys weren't necessarily at full strength because they didn't have Zach Martin, and they were still kind of finding their identity at week 1. But the Bucks and the Cowboys kind of faced off in a full strength game week 1. Yeah. Bucks beat them just barely, and then the Rams beat the Bucks.
But then the Bucks also went on to almost lose to the Patriots.
So it's just really weird. It's a weird year. There's
people beating each other. You can't just base these records this season off of who they beat.
Yeah.
You got to look at how bad they got beat or how barely
gotta look
they
at
won.
every individual
Yeah.
player.
But
as
you
well.
you add these 4 teams, also the Cardinals. The NFC looks so much stronger than the AFC.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah, if an AFC team wins the Super Bowl, I'm just gonna.
I mean, I wouldn't be
scratch my head.
surprised, but like, I mean, the only one I can really like say I'm confident in is the Bills. Like,
I would be confident in the Bengals at this point because like
to win the Super Bowl.
no to go to the Super Bowl, to make it to the Super Bowl because they just destroyed the Ravens.
Wait,
Like
I do have a question though. The Chargers. How do y'all feel about the Chargers still? Because I'm a little bit more lukewarm on them than I was after they had. I'm still kind of like, I don't think they're that impressive.
their stock went down. Has slowly gone down.
But like, I don't know why it would have. Like, I thought about it more. Is the only reason
it was
why
one of those
it went
things.
down for
Wait,
me.
at the beginning of the season, we thought the Chiefs were going to be this great team, and then the Ravens beat them, and then the Chargers beat them.
And then the Chargers also beat the Browns, but everyone's beating the Browns as well.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, not everyone, but the Browns haven't looked as good
But we were basing the Chargers
relative to those wins.
Yeah, and you can't really do that anymore because the Chiefs aren't the team that we thought they were going to be.
yeah, exactly.
And then they got dismantled by the Ravens. Sorry. So like so we've had a week to cool off with them. And the last time we saw them, they got beat. So maybe that's why. But I mean, they'll face the Patriots. Maybe that'll give us a better look. But I'm not quite so high on them. I just want to give a little update on that. I didn't think you guys would be either.
I do think their game against the Eagles, if they can figure out a way to win that game, they'll definitely get some
The Eagles,
momentum.
the Patriots.
The Patriots.
The Patriots.
Patriots. Yeah, if they can, well, even those 2 games, if they can win both those games, they're definitely gonna get some momentum.
I mean, they have a pretty good schedule.
Yeah,
Man, oh my God, they got the Patriots, the Eagles, the Vikings, the Steelers, the Broncos, the Bengals, the Giants, the Chiefs again, and then the Texans, and the Broncos and the Raiders.
Who is that? Who's
That's
that?
the Chargers. They have
That's
a
the
really
rest of their
easy
schedule.
That's a really easy schedule.
Like easy schedule. Yeah,
They're probably like easily a playoff team.
They're gonna be a 4th. I feel like they'd be more of a 4th seed.
Bro, the Chiefs are gonna get buried in that division. Like the way the Raiders are playing right now, like they're 5-2 for whatever reason. Don't
I
have
don't even. That confuses me.
I mean,
really
interim head coaches always. I feel like they always have success.
yeah. I don't know
It's so
why. It
weird.
just seems that way. Doesn't
I
it?
think when the Chiefs play the Raiders, that'd give us a better look at them. I feel like.
Which time? You think y'all beat? Sorry, y'all play them at home, right? y'all play them at home the first time or the second time?
I think we play them at home the second time.
So if y'all go at Raiders and beat them, you feel better.
Beat the Raiders. I feel like that'd give us a better picture of the Raiders. Because if we beat them,
Yeah,
it'd be like-
in 2 weeks you play them at Raiders.
Yeah, if we beat the Raiders at their home, at the Raiders, that will now be a packed house. That'll give us a better understanding of who the Raiders really are.
But see,
And who the Chiefs
I could
are.
also
Oh,
see in
yeah.
the Chiefs Raiders games. I could also see whoever the home team is. That's the team that's going to win. 'Cause
Yeah, that's what I told him. Like, so I feel like the Raiders are going to get 1, and the Chiefs are going to get 1.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the Chiefs need 2. They need to win 2 to be a playoff team.
Yeah, the Chiefs got a really, really hard schedule. They need the people that
You know,
make the
who's
schedule.
has a hard schedule? The Packers. Every NFC
Yeah.
North team has like the
Yeah.
worst schedule this year.
Well, there's some interesting rumors going on in the NFL right now. Apparently, and it was just rumors up until now, but as of 2 hours ago, the Houston Chronicles reports that the Dolphins and Texans have agreed on terms on a trade for Deshaun Watson. However, Miami owner wants legal issues resolved and clarity from NFL on discipline and whatnot. And that's coming from Pro Football Net, whatever. But apparently, it's going to happen. There's going to be a trade
If everything clears out.
if
yeah,
every
if everything,
legal thing,
if every
That's asking for a lot.
Yeah, that is. He's got a lot of stuff in his name right now, but
Like 37.
yeah, something
No,
or
34.
Yeah.
Something.
I mean,
Yeah, it
but
was
then
up
again,
there.
just because he's got charges doesn't mean nothing actually ever happened. So,
Yeah,
But I mean,
Depending
the
on
odds
who-
are stacked against him. Just the sheer amount.
oh, absolutely, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I'm staying far away from Deshaun Watson if I'm any team, just because you
Oh,
just
yeah.
don't know.
He's
like,
a wild card.
Like, great player, but just his ability, like, he's like a top 5 quarterback, but just not knowing how good when a player's gonna be able to play again, or if he's going, he'll probably play
because,
right now.
I mean,
But he's gonna play in the future.
The risk here is, I mean, the reward is you get a good quarterback who might work out really
for how
well for
long,
your
though?
team, and might do
That's
some.
a- yeah,
But
that's a risk.
the risk is that 3 games from now he gets arrested and has to go to trials and whatnot. And you don't see him again.
And the thing is,
even if he comes out victorious over said trials, you're still probably going to miss him for the rest of the season.
My thing is, like, if you wait for all this legal stuff to get cleared up,
And
then
it's
his price is probably going to go up. Because, like, then it's like, well, here, he's not, like, he's not in all this fishy stuff anymore. So, like, now you have to pay us more. Mm-hmm. It's like, you can probably get him for cheapest right now with all that's going on. But
which might not be a bad risk, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know. Just because I don't know, I wouldn't want Watson on my team.
But then plus, this is the Dolphins after all.
You have to think about how much you're going to have to trade to get him. Like, realistically, the Dolphins are going to have to trade a lot, and they're a very incomplete roster. So not only are you using assets to get him, you're also going to pay him a lot of money. And then you're kind of brought into the same situation as the Chiefs where you don't have a lot of money to spend to make the rest of your team better.
They might be paying low right now, though.
Not low, but lower. I still feel like for a Deshaun Watson caliber player, because let's be real, he could come back and play for the Texans right now if he wanted to. He just doesn't want to. Mm-hmm. So like he can just play right now for any team. Like if they trade him, he could go and play there.
Does Miami think that Deshaun Watson?
Actually, I just read. Here is the actual trade. The trade is the Texans will receive the 3 first-round picks if deal's done.
See, I would never do that if I was the Dolphins.
Yeah. Do you think Miami thinks that Deshaun Watson will create those weapons? I feel.
Well, his weapons are good. It's just like the O-line's horrendous, and we see what happens to quarterbacks when your O-line's horrendous.
Exactly.
Like
broken.
Like Deshaun Watson has had bad O-lines, and then one guy that comes to mind, Andrew Luck, he got destroyed, and so like just build your team, and eventually you're gonna find your guy, like your quarterback, and it's not Tua. And the only reason I think they're so eager to pull the trigger on Watson is because Brian Flores is on the hot seat. He doesn't want to get fired. Mm-hmm. He needs someone to come in right now and win him games, or he's getting fired.
Or at least get his name out of the talk.
So, like, he needs to win right now, and Deshaun Watson's probably his best option. But Brian Flores, what keeps his job is what is in best interest of the team. Because you want to build your team. And using 3 first-round picks on one guy does not help you build your team because you're going to lose a lot of your cap room is going to be taken up because of that quarterback. And then you're also not getting these players that you can draft high. Because let's be real, these Dolphins picks are really valuable right now. Like, they're going to have a top 10 pick this year.
Exactly.
Like, imagine what you could get in the top 10.
But see, is it worth giving up 3 first-round picks for one player or having those 3 first-round picks potentially being good players?
It depends on what's more important to you. Is start to winning games this season more important than what
I don't think that
it should never be because the Dolphins.
In my opinion, it should be. But that
as
could
of
be
right
the mindset
now, if I'm the Dolphins, I'm just gonna take the season as a done season already.
But then again,
the rest of the season and was build from here.
But then again, like Caden was saying, this is a head coach who's potentially, if they don't win at least 2 games this season, he more than likely going to be out of here.
He's out of here if they can win like 5 or 6 or 7.
That might be part of the rebuilding stage.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what's in best interest of the team is not what's in best interest of the head coach,
exactly.
And that's where the conflict is happening.
Right.
Exactly.
But they're listening to him right now.
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, and they should because this guy's job's on the line. That's why we saw like.
But then again, at the end of the day, if everything works out, it is Deshaun Watson.
It is, and that's what I'm saying. Like the talent is immense. But, like, we see these teams, when you trade, like, the Seahawks, they traded for Jamal Adams. They traded a lot to get him, and they're paying him a lot, and now they don't have any cap room to make moves elsewhere. And then the Chiefs, not exactly the same situation because they didn't trade for Mahomes, but they have all this money in him.
The money invested.
And now they don't have anything to build the rest of their roster. So now you're talking huge money, huge quarterback money you're paying him, a lot of cap room, a big cap hit, and then you're trading 3 assets, 3 first-round picks. I'm sorry you can't afford that because you have holes in the O-line, and then, like, there's a lot of holes in that defense as well because it's an aging defense, and, like, there's, like, not a great pass rusher. Like, imagine if you could get, like, the Kayvon Thibodeau guy, the edge rusher out of college, or, like, a Derek Stingley, or just any of these guys that you can pick in the first round. Like, you get 3 first-round picks you're going to miss out on. And you're the Dolphins. You suck. These first-round picks are going to be, like, top 10, top 15 picks.
It's also one of those other things that, like, if the head coach for the Dolphins does get fired, and they do get Deshaun Watson, how is he gonna take something from the old coach that was his decision? How is he gonna take that and build on it? Where if I'm the Dolphins and I see that my head coach might potentially be headed out, I'm gonna think, okay, I want to see how he does the rest of the season with what he has now. And if he can make something out of it, then yeah, I'll keep on and let him make his decisions on draft day. But if I think I'm gonna fire him, I don't want the coach I think I'm going to fire to make decisions now. I'm gonna want the new coach to make decisions with those 3 first-round picks.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how this trade actually develops. If there's more, is it just the picks, or is there going to be players involved?
From what I've seen, it's just those 3.
Because like, how do you build? I don't get.
Well, my thing is like the only teams that like should make a move like this are teams that literally need to win this year and are in a position to win this year. Like,
what team would that be?
Well,
Kansas
right
City.
now, like,
Nah.
like the Broncos, but
Broncos.
like the Broncos,
I heard
the Colts, but they can't do it obviously.
I
They have
heard
Carson
someone
Wentz.
say that if Deshaun Watson will go to the Panthers,
That's what I was just about to say. That's so.
that
weird.
might be a good team.
Yeah, but like even then, they just like use a second round pick to trade for Sam Darnold, and I don't know. Like, there's still a lot of problems on that roster. Like, their O-line sucks.
Yeah.
Their receivers have not been that good, surprisingly,
What
besides
about-
DJ Moore.
What about the Vikings?
No, Kirk Cousins is making too much, and then like you're
Yeah.
kind of shaking up the entire identity of that team, and that'd just be really weird.
And also, someone said, and I kind of agree with this too, is the Steelers. Put him to the Steelers because we don't know. They don't know where.
I mean, clearly they don't care about any controversy as far
Oh
as
my
sexual
God.
assault goes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, the Steelers kind of make sense, but you're putting him in the conference. Like, ideally, you'd like to ship him out to the other side. But, I mean, I guess they'll get anything at this point that they
Yeah.
can. The Steelers, they kind of would have the cap room.
Because
they have some of the assets.
If you ask me, out of all the teams, the Steelers would make the most sense to me because they have Juju Smith-Schuster, which I don't. Is he still injured?
He's gone. He's done for the rest of the season.
Well, still, they have
Even
Deontay
still.
Johnson and the
Claypool.
tall guy. Yeah,
Claypool.
Chase
Yeah.
Claypool. They're both really good. Najee Harris is really good.
Yeah.
That O-line, man, how many bad O-lines are there in the NFL? I feel like every team we mentioned, the O-line's fucking terrible.
But it's one of those things. Like, that's a team that's kind of in win now mode right now. But if you were, it'd be great because Ben Roethlisberger might not be here next season.
Here, real quick, and this is just updated since I've come back to this page. Like, it literally says 10 minutes ago. The NFL commissioner has come out and said that the NFL has still not made a decision because they don't feel there's enough necessary information to place him on the exempt list.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. There's just too many question marks around Deshaun Watson.
There's too many things he needs to get situated out with his personal life to make this work out.
All the conversation we've been having, like should you build a team around that? That's completely disregarding his situation.
Yeah.
Right.
When you add that together, I'm not poking him with
Yeah.
like the longest stick in the world.
Well, yeah. Well, back to what I was saying. If none of the stuff he's going through right now was a thing, to me the Steelers would make more sense because they have the weapons right now. Ben Roethlisberger might not be your quarterback next season.
We've been saying that for the last 3 seasons, though.
True.
Well, he shouldn't have been the quarterback this season.
Yeah. And the Steelers definitely need a quarterback, and I just think Deshaun Watson, with the offensive weapons they have right now, would make a good team if you can get a good defense with it too.
Yeah.
Right. That's all we got for NFL. I think that we have time at least to talk about. So, as tradition has it, we are moving into our weekly picks for the NFL games. And real quick, out of the 13 games that we had this past weekend, Easton, what was our records?
Nathan got 9 right. Trevor got 10. Caden got 9, and then I got 10. So, Caden.
Me and Easton know what we're talking about.
Yeah, we're
You say that, I was missing 15 and 16.
we are.
Y'all can't say nothing. I got 15 out of 16 week 1.
We're getting A's.
Kiss it. Moving on to our first game this weekend for the NFL, we have the Packers playing the Cardinals at the Cardinals on Thursday.
Cardinals.
Just with everything what the Packers are going through right now, I got the Cardinals.
Well-
Cardinals, unfortunately.
Can we do it iffy? Because if the Packers COVID list gets cleared, I'm taking the Packers.
That's like 2 days. Like, I don't think it will.
If they don't make the COVID list, or if they're still on the COVID
Can't
list,
do 50-50. You got to call
then
one.
You gotta
I'm
call-
taking the Cardinals.
You gotta take it.
Yeah,
Who you
call it.
taking?
Pick one.
I'll edit it in on Thursday morning.
Oh my god.
We have the Panthers playing at the Falcons, starting it off on Sunday morning.
Falcons.
Dude, Matty Ice looked good their last game.
This
I think I'll take the Falcons.
I guess I'll take
CMC
the
comes
Falcons.
back next week, by the way.
I don't care about CMC. Is just
I'm going to take.
But then again, the Falcons just barely beat the Dolphins.
yeah, but like I don't think the Dolphins are I do think they're bad. All these teams are bad. Like, every team that we're talking about right now is bad, but I think the Falcons have been a little bit less bad.
And they're
Panthers have been.
Yeah.
So we're all taking Falcons in?
Yes.
Is that
Falcons
what
coming
we're
off a
doing?
win, and Panthers coming off a loss. So.
Yeah. Next, we have the Titans at the Colts.
Titans.
I'm taking the Titans.
I'll take the Titans too.
At the
If
Colts.
you ask
you said?
me, Titans are a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I'll pick the Colts.
I said Titans.
Okay. Next, we have the Dolphins at the Bills.
Bills.
Josh Allen's going off again.
He's
Got the
going-
Bills.
Yeah, take the Bills.
It's gonna be a good week for me in fantasy.
Nathan, don't even, bro. Don't even. Just take the Bills.
Say the Bills. Just say it.
Fine, I'll take the Bills. I'll take the Bills. Now we got the Bengals at the Jets.
Bengals.
Bengals.
I'll take the
I'd
Bengals.
pick the Jets if they started Mike White, but
Yeah.
actually, are they really gonna like put Joe Flacco in after 1 week? They might start Mike White, which would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Pick him up in fantasy. He's a sleeper.
Next, we have Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cleveland Browns.
Steelers.
I'm taking Steelers.
Steelers just because of all the injuries the Browns have right now.
Oh, boy, that's tough. All right, I'll pick the Steelers.
Case Keenum.
Wow, okay. We're
Case
pretty
closed.
together so far. Next, we have the Eagles at the Lions.
I'm
I'm taking the Lions this time. And they're winning it this one.
I really hope you're right. These are both teams. Like, there's so many bad teams in the NFL. Like, I hate both. of these
Okay,
teams
I know
right now.
the Lions are 0-7 and the Eagles are
Actually,
2-5.
I like the
But-
Lions right now. I hate the Eagles, but the Eagles have won games, so it's like,
Okay.
Well, they've won 2 games.
I'm
yeah,
picking.
but they've won better than the.
I'm picking the Lions,
so-
and if they lose this, I'm never picking the Lions ever again.
I'll pick the Lions.
I'm gonna go different with them. I'm picking the Eagles.
Okay. Next, we have the Rams at the Texans.
Rams.
Oh my gosh.
Is that even a
Rams.
question?
The Rams are winning that one. Next, we have the 49ers at the Bears.
I'm gonna take the 49ers.
Yeah, give me the Niners.
The
Yeah.
Niners.
Bears are home. I'm taking the Bears.
The Bears suck.
The Bears have Justin Fields, who's looked terrible. Also, Matt Nagy's their head
Wait,
They've
3
got-
fumbles and 3 interceptions.
They've got
last game?
essentially the same
Something like that.
record.
Yeah, but the Bears are the Bears.
As of a team, I think the 49ers have a better team.
Oh, whatever. I'm
I
taking
feel like
the Bears.
Nick Bosa could probably feast on Justin
Yeah.
Fields.
I'm still taking the Bears.
Oh, dropped 2 up now.
Next, the Patriots play the Chargers.
Ooh.
That
Chargers.
could be a good game.
I'm taking the Chargers.
I think Justin Herbert's gonna return to form a little bit.
Yeah, I'll
I
take
can
the
see
Chargers.
I'd like for the Chargers to be good. I like their uniforms.
I love
It'd be fun
their
to watch.
uniforms.
Who'd you pick?
I haven't
like
decided on
Jones.
that one yet. I'm taking the Patriots.
Loser.
Loser.
Okay, I had to. Well, you know. We'll see when I win them
Oh my
all.
gosh.
This man is riding his 1 week where he
Yeah.
Hey, I ain't letting that one go. Next, we have the Jags at Seattle.
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 I'll pick the Jags.
I'm taking
You're
the
a dummy.
Jags.
You're all
I'll
dumbs.
take the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
Why did I say their full name?
Listen, Trevor Lawrence season.
Hell no.
That ship's
I
sailed.
mean, Jags are coming off a win. Let's see, who we got next? Now we got. Next, we got the Buccaneers at the Saints.
Bucks.
Bucks.
Yeah, I'll take the Bucks.
I'm actually thinking about it. Though.
Listen, the Saints have a really good defense.
Demario Davis, A-State alum. He's looking pretty good.
Dude, he's been really good.
Yeah.
Even when he's on the Jets, Demario Davis is a dog.
Mhm.
I'm taking the Saints.
Oh, I don't even hate it. I mean, if that's like your upset of the week, then that's a pretty
Yeah,
good
that'd be
upset.
good upset.
He has like
I could
5.
see it.
He's like
I'm saying, I get all the upsets, but I don't get the common sense ones,
I'm
apparently.
surprised you didn't take the Texans over the Rams.
No, that one, no. That one ain't worth it.
Mills.
Then we have the football team against the Broncos.
Oh god, I'm gonna take a football team.
Dude, bro, I think they're the
Broncos.
exact same team. Like,
They
their
are.
defense is
Okay.
supposed to be super good, and they're not really that.
I'm
and
taking
they have
the
no
Bron-
quarterback, and they have these weapons.
Taking the Broncos because they're home.
I'll take the Broncos too.
No,
Oh.
Washington.
I'll take the Broncos. These teams suck.
Next, we have the Cowboys and the Vikings.
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
I'm taking the Vikings.
You do you, bro.
It's at the Vikings.
This man's
feel-
this man's like
Roast-
parlay would have like the worst odds.
To the 7 people watching, roast this kid in the chat in the
Hey.
No,
comments.
because he's gonna end up getting all these things wrong. Oh, it's stupid. The next week.
Then, for a nail biter of a game, we have the Giants playing at the Chiefs.
I'm gonna break a pencil if they lose,
Dude.
bro.
I'm taking
Daniel
the
Beckham
Giants.
Jr. is about to go ham.
I am taking the Giants because if the Giants win, then they have the same record.
If the Giants win,
Just think about that.
You'll
If
get,
the Giants,
Daniel Beckham Jr. tattoo on you.
hey, just think about this. If the Giants win, the Giants and Kansas City will have the same record.
I'm picking the Chiefs.
I'm taking the
I'm
Giants.
taking the safe
The
pick.
Giants are winning this one.
I'm gonna pick the Chiefs.
It's going to be a
Yeah, the
last-second field goal. Giants win it, and Mahomes is going to be like that. Well, after that fun little pickety-pick, we are moving on to a very non-exciting college weekend, except for Penn State's 9 overtimes just to lose it.
Yeah, it was the longest game ever recorded. I believe the record was at like 8.
The last one was,
It
what,
was
7
7.
overtimes?
7
At
overtimes.
LSU and A&M.
Yeah, I mean,
But they
Penn State.
hardly scored, though.
Penn State disappointed me.
Well-
I had such high hopes for them, and they just
I think what really bit them in the butt was losing their quarterback.
Sean Clifford.
Yeah, I really think that's what bit them in the butt. Now, granted, that I think the defense should have been better than what they are now. I mean, they let Illinois score 20 on them, but
Yeah. But I think I thought Sean Clifford played.
I don't
Did
think
he not?
did.
Yeah, Sean Clifford played.
He did?
But he played he played so bad. He went 19 for 34 with 165 yards.
Maybe
That's
he should have stayed
terrible.
out then.
Yeah, maybe he should have stayed out, but that is so bad. Maybe they pushed his injury a little bit. Maybe he's still hurt. But the thing that
Sounds like a
happened was
hesitant
the
quarterback
person
with
that did get injured was that Illinois quarterback. That man broke his wrist. I don't know if it's been said, but when he fell, I don't know why you wouldn't just take it in the shoulder, but he should not have just laid his hand down because that thing snapped and you could see it flobbling around like a piece of rubber. But yeah, and he was just holding it like it was just like a T-Rex basically.
I mean, it still makes my point, though, that Penn State defense couldn't stop a second-string quarterback from scoring 2 points.
I know, but Penn State disappoints.
Well,
me.
they did for
Well,
8 overtimes.
no team could score for like 5 overtimes.
Yeah.
I know.
That was crazy. And then moving on, do y'all see Oklahoma as a top 4 team
I don't.
this season?
I don't.
I don't.
I do.
Their defense
No.
is so bad. Did you see
Who is the top 4 team then?
Who's the top 4 team then?
Who is it?
Who is it? Georgia?
Yeah, Georgia's the team.
Georgia
Yeah,
is
Georgia's
the
definitely
team.
gonna win everything.
Does it even matter who the other 3 are? Like, does it really?
I think Cincinnati is a well-deserved.
I think
top 4
Cincinnati
team
does deserve it. Yeah.
because they've been ranked 9 for the past 5 years, and them.
But who else? Like,
Who else? I think Ohio State, Michigan, or Michigan State. Alabama
to take the 4
should-
spot?
to take the 4 spot.
I can see that.
so
Yeah.
who's at 3?
Who's at? Okay,
Alabama.
Alabama.
Well, Alabama's going to lose to Georgia in the SEC championship, and they're going to be out.
Oh wait.
So there's 2
shoot,
teams
yeah.
really that need a spot, and I feel like Oklahoma.
No. I said okay. So I think it's Georgia, Cincinnati, and it's either between Ohio State, Michigan, or Michigan State. It's
And those are like
between-
those. One
those
of
are
those
the
3
right-
teams are going to be the top 2. Like, I mean, 2 of those teams are going to be in the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't see. I think.
I completely agree with you because I can see Ohio State winning out the season,
Mhm.
and then they're definitely going to be a top 4 team,
Mhm.
the 3 or 4 spot, and then whoever wins this Michigan State game
Mhm.
is definitely going to be a top 4 team if Oklahoma doesn't continue to play
Exactly.
the way they are.
But
Did-
Caleb
so-
Williams
so-
is good at football.
No, he's not. Okay.
I think he's just getting lucky.
He's just getting. It's his freshman year. No one expected him to start.
Yeah.
So did you watch the Oklahoma Kansas game? That
The
was
foil
so. That was the
lateral thing.
That was the worst. That's how they won it. That is how they won that game. A forward lateral or like a backwards whatever the heck. Whatever you want.
You know why it was
Backward.
legal only because it was behind the line.
Yeah,
of
it was
scrimmage.
because it was behind the line of scrimmage. But yeah, Kansas, who has not won a game since they've won one game, but their last win was in November of like 3 years ago. I don't know.
like big game.
But
So you're
but
telling
what
me
I'm
all
saying,
the teams in Kansas suck?
yeah, Kansas is they are so bad, and
Kansas basketball team is goated.
that's the only thing Kansas has for them. But God, like what was I forgot what the box score was.
So you
but-
think like, what about the Michigan teams? Like, do you feel like it can only be one of them? Like whoever beats the other in this.
I think
week.
Michigan looks the best out of whenever
Michigan State and Michigan. You think?
Yeah, I think
so. Whichever one wins that needs to be in the playoffs. You think?
Yeah, exactly.
If they win out.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yes.
I can be cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about Ohio State.
But the thing is with this,
They only had that one last loss against Oregon.
Who?
Ohio State.
Against who?
Oregon.
Oregon's is sleeper. I wouldn't be surprised.
It's like a quality loss. Like, but that's just
But I'm surprised.
quality loss team.
I'm surprised Alabama's in the top four.
If Ohio State loses against Penn State, they're done.
They're gonna play Michigan. So like the winner of Ohio State. So because they play Michigan State and Michigan. So like let's say like only the winner out of like whoever beats both those teams gets to make the playoffs, and then Oklahoma State. That's probably what I see as most probable.
Mm-hmm. But if I'm looking at teams like to compare Alabama to get in the top four, like so Alabama's 3, but then at the end of the year, I'm saying at the end of the year, Ohio State, Michigan State. If I'm looking at those 3, I'm taking them over.
I think only one of those can make it though.
Exactly,
honestly.
I think.
Yeah.
But I don't think Alabama should be in the top 4 because
I do.
I don't think they should.
But when they get beat by Georgia, they're a 2-loss team, and you just can't have that in there.
I know,
don't think.
Exactly.
If they get beat by Georgia.
But I feel like they absolutely
Dude,
will.
Georgia,
like if they don't, then it f***s everything up. But like I feel like they absolutely will lose to Georgia.
Well, really, I mean, you say that, but like Alabama also lost to A&M, so
that's exactly what I'm
Texas-
saying.
So Georgia losing to Alabama is not out the window.
I think it is. Georgia's insane.
Georgia's like
I mean,
I think the Georgia. Granted, I don't think any college team could beat an NFL team, but this Georgia team looks like it could beat.
They could definitely beat the.
Don't get me wrong.
Detroit Lions right
no,
now.
they could not.
Maybe
I think a lot of teams could beat the Dolphins.
No, stop the cap. I hate that narrative. No college team is beating it.
Arkansas State could beat the Kansas City Chiefs, okay?
I'll take that.
Hey, Patrick Mahomes might actually start throwing
We would make
touchdown
Clyde
passes.
Edwards-Helaire look like Bo Jackson.
Hey, if Kansas City Chiefs played Arkansas State, maybe Mahomes won't throw a pick.
I know that'd be so insane. But
I might fit one in there.
Because be throwing so much because he'd be out there so often.
Yeah.
That'd be one-play drives every time.
I mean, that would be an offensive game.
For one team, yeah.
No, I think Kansas City's defense is
That
dog
bad.
shit.
You think Lane Hatcher's throwing for 500?
Oh, shoot, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be great to see. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Dude,
Hey, you can legally
Harry
hey,
gets tackled by Chris Jones.
Hey, you
Man's
can't you technically legally do that now?
What?
With the whole, you can pay college players now?
No, because it's endorsement
Yeah,
stuff.
let's do it. You can
NFL
legally do
versus
it.
college.
You could
game.
if I am Lane Hatcher, you can't pay me any amount of money to get under center with Chris Jones screaming at me.
I'm gonna get you.
As much as I love to disrespect the Chiefs, Nick Bolton would kill everyone on this team.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, now.
We would make Sorensen look like a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
It'd still be a blast to watch.
Nah, I would.
Well, that sounds more exciting than anything we watched in college, though, this past weekend. Well, I'm throwing this next section up to Trevor. Sum it up real fast. What's there to talk about in the NBA?
Well, I think the biggest thing right now is can the Lakers actually figure out what's wrong with their team? It just looks like they're fighting against the only reason they're losing right now. I say they're losing. It seems like the only thing that's really biting them in the butt is themselves. They're fighting
shooting
themselves
in the foot.
Yes.
Like playing DeAndre Jordan. Why would you do that?
Why would you do that?
Man played 15 minutes and was a minus 15, and they were winning. So
And the Phoenix
It's
Suns,
terrible.
man. My Suns, I was surprised that they beat the Lakers. I was so happy.
And then why are you surprised? I feel like there should be no surprise that the Lakers were going to be bad to start the year because they have so much chemistry and so many lineups to figure out.
Yeah.
And this team, this is not the final team we're going to see come playoff time because they're going to be in the buyout market, and they're probably going to trade guys. So it all looks bad right now, but that's kind of what I expected. Maybe it will never get fixed, but we knew they weren't going to start this year super hot.
True.
So I think I'm leaning more towards this is exactly what I expected. I think the Lakers will figure it out.
Well, like I said, it seems like the only reason that they're starting off so bad is because they're fighting each other, and it's not that other teams are just better than them. It's just they still have stuff to figure out for themselves for them to actually be a decent team. Which it's the Lakers. They have LeBron James.
I think when they get Kendrick Nunn back, I think that'll help a lot.
Yeah. And then two teams that have really kind of shocked me are the Chicago Bulls. They came out guns blazing. I did not see that coming at all.
I mean, they made a lot of signings. I was kind of high on them as a playoff team. They're a playoff team, but they just don't have the experience. I don't see them making the finals. But I think they'll be a really good playoff team that can kind of beat anybody.
Yeah.
Besides, I don't think they can beat the Bucks.
When I said about the Heat, if Tyler Hero could potentially do better than he did last year, which that's exactly what he's doing. He's the second leading scorer on that team right now, and they did lose one bad game, but they did beat the Bucks. Now, granted, the Bucks are dealing with injuries right now and everything, but I think if anybody that can beat the Bucks right now, since they're the team,
Bam Adebayo is beating that team.
I just don't. I hate how overblown and how many overreactions there are at the beginning of the NBA season, and none of it matters because by the middle of the year it all kind of goes exactly how you kind of thought. We could talk all day about how John Morant's looking like an MVP candidate and LaMelo Ball is looking like an All NBA player, and then it's just not going to continue that way. I don't believe it will. So this early in the season, I don't like to make these predictions and talk about these narratives.
So negative.
Well, they established. That's why you don't talk about MVP candidates in the NFL week 1. It's because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, not to saying the Heat are going to keep up this production, and the Bulls are going to keep up the.
Well, I mean, the Heat are my finals pick. But I'm just saying, we shouldn't overreact to anything right now.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. If Tyler Hero can keep up what he's doing right now,
I can
Heat
agree
are
with
going
that.
to be a really good team. Mm-hmm. If the Bulls can keep up with the way they're playing, and they are a fun team to watch.
Yeah, Zach Levine and LaMelo.
They're so fun to watch.
Lonzo.
Did you see that? Oh, who was it? Lonzo Ball and Caruso alley-oop dunk.
Yeah,
There's just so many guys that Zach Levine, DeRozan, and Caruso catching oops from Lonzo Ball. That's gonna be fun to watch all season.
Yeah,
Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
If you want to watch a team, watch that team. That team is so fun to watch now.
Mm-hmm.
I'd watch the Hornets though. The Hornets are fun. They've been playing pretty well.
LaMelo Ball.
Yeah.
LaMelo, I really like LaMelo.
His potential in the NBA is going to be so fun to watch.
The sky's the limit for him. Honestly.
If he just gets a little bit of more muscle on him.
I don't even.
Dude,
He didn't play. I think he just plays with he plays like a veteran. He plays like an established superstar, and it's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Nathan's done.
Well, we're taking a nap. Hey, if y'all go on for another 10 minutes, I'll start snoring.
Yeah.
So y'all done?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Oh.
The NBA regular season's terrible.
It only gets
I
good
was
in the
gonna say,
playoffs.
I can't watch
to
NBA
be
until
honest,
the
I watch it
playoffs.
during the playoffs.
I mean, all you do is the only thing exciting about the NBA up until the playoffs is these stats, those stats,
And
look at these highlights.
And really, the only reason the regular season matters is which team is going to go into the
First.
playoffs most healthy.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that matters.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do y'all think about the NBA? Is it worth watching up until the playoffs?
Watch the Christmas game and then tune back in.
Exactly.
Are we off our rockers for who we think the top 4 college teams should be? And
He got it right this time. He didn't say top 5.
well, that was NFL we were talking about that time.
I don't think so.
No, I thought we were,
five.
Top
oh,
five.
whoever it was. What are your rankings for who the hell ever? I don't care. Anyway, this has been episode 8. Tune in again next week. If y'all want us to do a live show, let us know. It's going to be an uncensored release. Anyway, see y'all. Have a good rest of your day.